Marilyn Manson had some kind of problem with the American education system, and Matt Thiessen took it upon himself to enthusiastically jump in to defend it.
To defend the public education system.
Yep.
I love that.
I'll have you know, Marilyn Manson.
School.
I think the public education system is just great.
Yeah.
It's just
school
fine.
is cool, Marilyn Manson. Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am your co-host, Kylan Savage, joined, as always, by Mr. TJ Smith.
Kylan, I just hope the jammers are really hungry as they're listening to this episode, because I'm asking them to take a big ka-chunk out of that Relient cake that we're going to serve up.
Oh, boy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And
that's how I eat cake.
The resident man in charge of our days and our nights, beautiful producer Josh Olson.
Excellent.
Kylan and TJ, I'm happy to be here. I just am always excited to talk about music when you're around. And this is exactly one of those times.
Benevolent.
I think everything will be all right.
Yeah. I hope you're just softer to me on this episode than you were last one.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a wake-up call, but someone had to do it. Someone had to do it to you.
That's.
I got nothing.
I know. Everything
sounds like a benediction if we keep just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I want to get in a
Go to
balloon
Anchorage, Alaska, apparently.
Is this
Somebody's gonna have
episode
to
good?
call-
Is it going to be good? It's a mystery only Nancy Drew could solve.
I was going to say, Nancy Drew's going to have to solve the mystery of what happened to all of our good bits.
Yeah.
They ran away.
They really did. Yeah, so we're talking about Relient K's self-titled album.
Yeah, we are.
That's true.
Why? Why? Why this one?
Kylan.
Is it celebrating an anniversary?
It is turning a quarter of a century old.
Woo! You can rent a car now.
It's true. It finally
This album could rent its own.
They don't have to run on the track field anymore.
K-car.
They can actually get a K car. Yeah.
Nice.
It's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's also come on. Like Relient K, they're like the reason this podcast exists.
That's
the
true.
de facto pillar of this podcast.
That argument is fireproof.
Yep.
Fun fact, I was not familiar with this record.
Oh, really?
Like at all?
Yeah, not really at all.
Wow.
No
Fresh as
way.
like 25 years later.
There was some stuff that I was like, oh yeah, I know this, but Anatomy of Tongue-in-Cheek, I think, is about as far back as I really got into with Relient K. So, all right, so that's my history of the record. We can fix it in post. We'll put that
Yeah,
later.
we'll move it later. Yeah. People will never know.
So let's just get it over with, man. Let's get
I can
the
tell you're
research out of
really
the way.
excited.
I mean,
You're
we got to
pumped
do
about this.
it. We got to do it. We got to do the research.
I mean, yeah, we've
guess.
covered Relient K a couple times on the show, but every time it feels like the first time, just gotta do it all over again into excruciating detail. For Kylan's sake, he loves it so much.
I love it. So love it. Let's do it. What are we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about our beloved band from Canton, Ohio. Members for this record are Matt Thiessen on vocals and guitar, of course. And then I do have some little thank you notes that I found from the liner notes that I want to include, that Matt Thiessen gives thanks to. One of them I thought was funny was the ladies in general, in quote.
Wow.
The ladies
Yep,
in general.
the ladies in general.
All women.
Just in general, all of them. No thanks is Wendy's, which is very funny now, knowing what we know.
Yep.
Also,
is
no
very
thanks
funny.
to Violence, Tanya Harding, and Third Degree Burns.
Why do you have to throw Tanya Harding under the bus?
Yeah, what did she
I guess
do?
in 2000. Wait, really? You don't know what Tanya Harding did?
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
just
I was
think
like,
it's
wait,
funny.
what?
Like, was it a
I'm ready
personal
to.
affront
I'm ready to
to Matt?
I guess her public image hadn't been redeemed the way it has now in 2025.
Right.
Post iTanya, we're a post iTanya world.
Yeah, post iTanya.
We are a post iTanya.
It was still pretty fresh for him.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, he was really going through some things on this record.
That would be really funny if one of the other band members just thanked Nancy Kerrigan.
That's good. Awkward. So we also have, of course, Matt Hoops on guitars. He has some no thanks to the Record Exchange, the Cincinnati Police Department, and Gray Snow.
Okay.
Huh.
Yep.
Sounds like a story there.
There's a couple stories there at least. I don't know if they're all connected. We'll never know. We'll have to ask Hoops.
In my mind, they are.
They have to be. They have to be in that order. And then, of course, we have Brian Pittman on bass. And on drums, we have Steve Cushman, which is his only record with the band. We're in a pre-Dave Douglas era. Pre-iTanya era and pre-Dave Douglas.
That is how I separate time as well.
Yeah, those are the two big.
That's how I live my life.
Yep.
PD.
Post-millennial pre-Dave Douglas. It was a weird time for America. Did anything else happen in that time? I don't know.
It was a short
Any other major world events?
No.
A brief moment.
No. The record we're talking about today is, of course, Relient K, self-titled. It was released on April 25th of 2000. We're celebrating its 25th year anniversary. This is their first studio LP. It depends on, I guess, if you want to count All Work and No Play as a demo, even though it is a full length.
I've always thought of it as a demo album, but
they would probably, I would think, say the same. Especially since it wasn't widely distributed.
Yeah.
It is, of course, released on Goatee, to which all of that you can hear the story, the behind-the-scenes story, in our interview with producer Mark Lee Townsend.
Hey.
Mark does have some... there's a credit for Mark on this that says, Mark Lee Townsend, or is it Mark Townsend, did not play the guitars on this record. If he did, they would have been better.
That's great.
And Mark has some thanks that I would like to say. He says he thanks Relient K as good and decent guys that allowed me to play George Martin with their talent. And then he says, Zilch will rise again, ...
Ooh.
And 25 years later,
Yeah.
Zilch is rising again.
Wow. Prophetic.
there you go.
I know, he was biding his time. Charts and performance, I don't have any for this record. So didn't quite make the splash, at least on the charting side. Spotify stats, I found this is maybe Relient K's least popular record. It's their only record that has 0 songs with 1 million+ streams on it.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's got like a couple over 500,000, but most of them are not even above that line. So
Interesting.
yeah, it is interesting.
Right.
And then runtime is 14 songs at 46 minutes and 17 seconds.
Yeah.
That's all my research. Well, yeah, some buffer time in there.
Sweet. What is y'all's history with this record?
I kind of like Kylan, started with Anatomy and went forward, and I don't think I got this record till it could have been late high school, but I want to think it was sometime in college. Like, I was pretty well into, like, may have Forgetting Not Slow Down may have been out already by then. I don't remember when I got it specifically, but I think I just got to just be like, I've never had this record or heard it. Like, let me just check it out. And it was never like a big one for me. I think it would have been maybe if I would have listened to it earlier when I was a lot younger. But by that point, I was like, yeah, these songs are nice to like have, but it was never like a big one for me.
Yeah,
it was mostly just like filling in the gaps in my
the
Relient K discography of like, what did they sound like? Yeah, and I need this CD for my collection.
totally.
I wonder if that's the case for most people. Our age, right? That didn't.
Well,
I mean, if you grew up listening to this record, then I could see like TJ.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it's kind of funny because I did listen to this album, not long after it came out, but I didn't listen to it right when it came out. I got turned on to Relient K when Anatomy came out, and so, but I did do a quick leap back to this self-titled. I remember, I have a distinct memory. We talk about mop bops and the like. I have a distinct memory of mowing the lawn and putting on like a handful of songs from this record on I want to say it was a Kazaa playlist. Do you guys
Nice. Oh yeah.
remember or know Kazaa?
Oh yeah.
It was the other Napster.
Yeah.
The other
No, I was a
LimeWire.
LimeWire
So
guy.
yeah,
But
I was a Kazaa man.
My mom used Kazaa for all the youth group stuff.
Right.
Sorry, Mom. Blowing up her spot.
Yeah. what can you do? But
There's not
look,
much.
man, you got to get those resources.
There's
somehow.
not much money in the youth group budget. You got to do what you got to do.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I definitely like stumbled onto a lot of these tracks before I got the full album, just like haphazardly on Kazaa, and was like, oh right, they have more music before Anatomy,
Right.
and I have a distinct memory of listening to like some Anatomy tracks and some of these tracks and like some Switchfoot and some OC Supertones and just throwing it all on a playlist and putting on the fancy new wireless headphones that my dad got that I probably shouldn't have been wearing while mowing the lawn and that didn't have a great radius, to be honest, from the computer where I was supposed to be like in those days. That technology was pretty new, expensive, and not great. So, I would like mow the lawn, and when I would get out to the furthest edges of our yard,
point, yeah,
I'd lose it, and I'd come back in. And so it motivated me to go fast on that section, and I think that outer area never got mowed quite well.
It was pretty
quite as
spotty
well
out
as
there.
it should have been.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, so I have a distinct memory of like some of these tracks being on like a random playlist that I made, and then I did eventually get the album and listen to it. So I do have some fond memories of it, but it was after Anatomy became more familiar with me, and I was like, oh, they have more songs. But I wanted to say, like, it is interesting thinking about y'all kind of starting with Anatomy and just going
I started with two
forward
lefts
for the most part.
I started two lefts. I jumped back to Anatomy.
I see, and you didn't keep going back to the self-titled. Yeah, because I didn't, when Anatomy like hit me, I was like, oh, this is great, and I don't know. I didn't really have an opinion at that time of whether there was like a big quality difference between Anatomy and their self-titled work. And so it all just kind of like merged together in my mind for a while. Because it did come out not long after, right? It was like,
I think it was like a year and a half.
later.
I think it's August of 2001 is when Anatomy did.
Yeah. So it all happened pretty fast. And I think that's why in my mind it's almost like it was almost like a continuation, but who knows whether I'll feel that way when we cover Anatomy.
Right.
How it'll sort of compare and contrast with this record. We'll see. Yeah, I guess I had a little more context than the two of you guys.
Yeah, so you're going in with like the most, especially like the most nostalgia, I would say, since it was
totally
early of you getting into Relient K with this and Anatomy.
Yep. Absolutely.
Interesting.
So once Two Lefts came out, because we know that was a big record for you, did you kind of just like leave this one behind? You're like, I don't, or did you like kind of keep it in your rotation?
I went so all in on Two Lefts. I still definitely listened to Anatomy a lot. It was in the rotation, but I think this one did get kind of bumped out just because I now had all this new music from them, right? So it was like Anatomy gets to stay, but self-titled got kicked to the curb a little bit. And I think it was just because there was such a noticeable difference in the Two Left sound that it really took up a lot of space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In my listening habits. What were you going to say, Colin?
No, I was saying like that's what I'm wondering if how much that's the case, because I mean, just based solely on the amount of listens we're seeing and stuff online, if that's kind of the case with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're out there, let us know.
I don't know, man.
How often do you listen to this thing?
I'm very curious. Okay, flop or bop verdicts.
Oh, I do just want to say I did, because sometimes we talk about last time we listened to the record.
Oh, right.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure I haven't listened to this since I switched to streaming. So I went back to my iTunes archives, and the last time I listened to most of this record was in 2016, but there were two songs that had last play dates of 2013 and 2014. So sometime in there was probably the last full-length listen to this record.
Wow.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
in the Obama era.
Yeah.
Interesting.
True.
TJ, what about
I have
you?
no clue when I listened to this last. There's no telling, to be honest. It might have been
When was the last time you mowed the lawn?
high school. Yeah. Oh, man. That's been eons.
Yeah.
Long time.
Sweet. Okay. So now, flop or bop verdict or predictions.
Kylan, you going into this record with no context whatsoever, what would you have said?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, there's a part of me that was like, yeah, it'll probably be good, but like, I don't know. I had the anticipation that it was going to be a lot of like kind of similar pop punk, simply because I'd heard from so many people like how different Two Lefts was, like how much of a leap forward. So I guess it kind of came down to like, where is I feeling in terms of like listening to some late 90s, early 2000s pop punk. Because, you know, I've got the scale, good record, good week, good record, bad week, bad record, bad week, blah, blah, blah. I've just been having a time, man. I don't know if I was, I don't know. I think I would have predicted a soft flop. We need to address. We need to. I feel like I've been flopping a lot of stuff lately. I've been having conversations about this, and I need to. I'm trying to reset where the things happening in my life aren't affecting my
Listening experience.
Your assessments.
Yeah. So I had to.
It's tough,
I
though,
had to
sometimes.
check myself, but that's what I predicted before I listened to the record. So
Sure.
Okay.
okay. What about you guys?
I would have. I would probably have been right on the line of a soft bop or a soft flop. Like I was like, this record, I haven't listened to it in over a decade, or almost a decade. So I was like, it's not anything that means like super important to me, but it's like, it's a fine record probably for what it is. I don't know. If I needed to, because obviously I'm going to bop almost everything that Relient K's done. But this is one of two records that I'm like, I could give this a flop if I needed
what's the
to
other
give
one?
Relient K a flop.
What's the other one?
What is the other
What's
one?
the other
I don't
one?
know.
What's the other one?
We
Josh?
might be covering it in a couple more months.
Ah,
So we will discuss it then. So
okay.
people can probably guess. It's Forget and Not Slow Down, definitely.
Yeah,
Hate that record.
We're covering again because Josh
Yep.
has some thoughts.
Because I've changed my stance
He's
on it.
totally
I need to flop it
changed.
now. Yep. So
Sure.
I don't know. I probably would have said soft bop, but I could have been like, if I flopped this, I could see that happening.
Yeah, TJ.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I would have just given it, like, my prediction would be a generic bop. Just pretty, like, flat,
Cool.
but still in the positive,
Yeah.
Enjoyable enough.
in the black, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Generic bop prediction.
I like that. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get the party started with 2000's Relient K by Relient K. That was more of a tongue twister than I anticipated.
Kylan, I've got a band that you may not be very aware of. They're kind of underground.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this band from Canton, Ohio called Relient K?
I have not, but I have heard of the pizza place in the Philippines. That's a really
Yeah.
deep cut.
It's a really deep cut.
Shout out to Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Yes, Danny and Jess know all too well. Wow, very deep cut. Well, I'm glad you know about the pizza place. There's also a band called Relient K.
Oh, cool.
And at this point in their career, they have a good amount of records. And a lot of those records, LPs and CDs, can be found at our sponsor, colliderecords.com.
No way.
Yeah, this year was a big year. We had the 20th anniversary of and guess what? They have the vinyl of that. It was also the 15th anniversary of Forget and Not Slow Down, and they have that on vinyl. Hot take, two best Relient K records. Not in that order, though, in my opinion. But they've got, we'll talk about that later. But they got a lot of other Relient K vinyl and some CDs in there still. If you're a CD guy like me, they got a lot of great stuff. So if you like Relient K, Collide Records is the place for you.
For real. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't think they offer pizza deliveries, but in lieu of that, you can pick up like.
There's a comment section you could put in there. Like, I mean,
That's
maybe
true.
they're looking to expand their business. Yeah.
That's true. We should definitely talk to Greg about that.
Yep.
Have we got an idea for him? But yeah, man, I think if you're the kind of person that is not like format phobic, right? Like if you like all kinds of different formats, I think on their site, like I think you can pretty much fill out the entire or a vast majority of the Relient K discography.
Yeah, and definitely some stuff that's still hard to come by these days. So
Yeah.
Another thing to shout out, they have the Air for Free vinyl, which has the fun alternate track list that's vinyl exclusive as well.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they kind of altered the track list for it. So
Interesting.
you can get a different listening experience on vinyl as opposed to streaming or CD. So
Nice.
yeah, but if you go to Clyde Records and you get all the Relient K that you can imagine to bundle up and put it in your cart, I've got some good news for you.
Do you have to use your fingers?
You have to use your fingers. And when it comes to the promo code, you can type in Church Jams Now, all one word, and you will receive not 1, not 5, not 10, but 20% off your first order from colliderecords.com.
That's insane.
It's a great deal.
That is a great deal. So once again, use your fingers, type in promo code Church Jams Now at checkout at colliderecords.com to get all of your Relient K needs met, plus others. No pizza, though.
Not yet, at least. TBD.
Not
on the
yet.
pizza.
We got a new review on iTunes for Church Jams Now.
Man, this is just like when Steve would get a letter. You get so excited, you know? It's
I do.
like,
We just got a
review. That's it. Perfect.
We love reviews. We love when you rate and review the show. It gives us feedback. And we've talked about it before. It helps the algorithm. I don't understand what any of this means, but it does help more people find our show if more people rate and review the show. So if you want your review read on the show, go ahead and just use your fingers and give us a star rating and type out a little clickety-clack, type out a little review, and we'll read it. So I'm going to read us a review right now.
Ooh, I'm ready to hear it.
I'm really excited about this because we've had a few reviews that really get in depth, right, with what they love about the show, what they like really appreciate about it, and they get really granular, kind of the way that we do with the albums, and I think that's incredible. This review is my kind of review, though. It's a straight up vibe guy review.
It absolutely is.
This is from J.S. Wilmering. 5 stars.
Great
Title
start.
is Great Show, guys. Love the podcast. It's my go-to delivering beer and alcohol. ...
The end.
Hell yeah. Thank you. That's all.
Well,
that's it.
And if we talk about on the show a lot about specificity in songs.
Yes.
And I feel like this is just the right amount of specificity for me to kickstart my imagination
Yes.
for JS listening to our show delivering beer and alcohol. And that's all the information I know, but it's really all the information I need.
Right.
To just start imagining. And it's perfect.
100%. So thank you so much for that review. It might be my favorite. I might print it out and frame it.
That'd be solid. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
So if you want to have your review read on the show, whether it's long and in depth or whether it's a short vibe guy review like that, there's room for all of that here on Church Jams Now. So just leave us a review and a rating on. You can't leave us a rating or a review on Spotify. I don't believe so. But you can do it on Apple Podcasts. But you can give us stars on Spotify. So wherever you're at, give us a rating and a review, and we'll read it on the show.
Welcome back to Church Jams Now. I hope you enjoyed those ads as much as we enjoyed making them. We, of course, are going to talk about Relient K's self-titled. But before we go track by track, does anyone have any general thoughts? I have one thing about the artwork. This is usually around the time we talk about the artwork, right?
Oh, yeah. We can talk about
Yeah. The only thing I have to say is what I sent you in the group chat, Josh, that I'm so mad at you for not getting a guest for this episode because of all the albums we've covered, this seems like the perfect one to have to put our faces on but we're gonna have to put
true.
our faces on, and
Can we just
one
leave
of the guys,
Thiessen, and it'll be like our
or can we
begging
leave
him to come on the show? Like, please.
Maybe. I like that.
See how fun it would be for the four of us to hang out. Look,
be
we're having so
you
much
here.
fun.
I know it worked out so perfectly with the Jason Dunn Hawk Nelson ep, where he's the only one, the originals.
There you go.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's precedent. Okay.
But he was on that episode, so
right.
it made sense.
Yeah, that's true. I like the idea of leaving
It's
the guy that's
aspirational.
not in this, that wasn't in the band after this.
Steven. Yeah. We could do that.
I do like
That'd be
that
funny.
more. Yeah.
So it's all just
This one's
four
to
people
you,
that are not
Steve.
in Relient K.
Yeah, there you go. There's a theme. It fits.
I love that.
I like it.
That. That's much more on brand.
Yeah. All right. That's my only general thought. Yes, sir.
Josh, yes.
I have favorite song predictions.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
I wrote my favorite song.
Oh, well, then you better think of it real quick
Yeah.
before I reveal my guesses.
Okay.
So, actually, honestly, I'm going bookends here for my official ones. I'm going TJ Hello McFly and Kylan K Car. Initially, I was kind of thinking, normally I don't double up of both of y'all having this same favorite song, which you have done in the past. But I was like, maybe K Car could be Kylan and TJ's, but I think the lyrics with Hello McFly might vibe a little more with TJ. So I'm going Hello McFly for TJ and Kylan Car for Kylan.
All right.
K Car for
Kylan
Kylan
Car.
Car.
I love it. Oh,
great.
Kylan Carr. All right. Well, let's get right into it then with track number 1, Hello McFly. Album starts out with some sweet, sweet bass.
I know, it's fun that you get to hear
it
Brian
sweet?
as the first thing from
Yeah.
RK.
Yeah. We like the tone. We feel okay about the tone. It's not too farty.
I mean, it is a little bit, but I mean, it's,
They did this in Mark Lee Townsend's basement, so I mean,
yeah, it's like low budget, early 2000s pop punk. I'm just like, that's kind of part of the thing, right?
yeah.
It fits. Yeah. Totally.
All right. Is this anyone's
Yeah.
favorite song?
It's not. Sorry, Josh.
It's okay. It's tough
It was almost mine.
guessing a favorite song right out of the gate. It's tough.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
then I'm just like,
It's a great song.
automatically
And it was a
deflated.
good guess.
yeah.
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 I guess we got to bring up Grammar Jams now, but
Yeah.
he said it's over. Excuse my grammar, but the fat lady sung.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no,
they get a pass
I wanted
though
to,
because they asked
Exactly.
us to excuse them. So we
It's-
brought. So we,
I think it's a meta
Open and shut
grammar
case.
jams
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like a self-aware grammar
open and
jams
close
now moment.
case.
Yeah, they're good.
It's like no, they asked. They brought
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
So
They said,
just
I have to
excuse
for
me.
grant
any
them
other
clemency
bands.
for that.
for any other bands
Yes.
out there that don't want to get Grammar Jam now,
Included in the lyrics, and you're
yeah,
good.
Just ask. Yeah. Yeah. They had the proper paperwork. in
Yeah.
place.
Open and shut, man. Like you said.
Yep. I got no other notes.
Yeah.
There's nothing else
Colin,
to
I'm glad
say.
you brought it up. I had it in my notes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you
We
know,
had to. We had to.
yeah, we had
They
to.
asked us to.
Yep.
They
This
asked
is
us
how
to.
you properly get around it. I mean, yeah. They were planning on this
Yeah.
moment 25 years ago.
His voice sounds so different. Like you could still tell it's him, but
Yeah.
it sounds so different. Not even
Yeah,
necessarily
there's
like younger,
a lot of
which
stuff
is
happening.
what I was anticipating.
Right.
It's just
There's
different.
like his voice is all over the place, I think, on this
Yeah,
album in a way
really
that
is.
we don't ever hear again. And I think, you know, as their first like official studio foray as a band, it makes sense that we're going to witness a lot of experimentation and a lot of like trial and error and just figuring themselves out. You know, they had All Work and No Play, but this was still like another phase, I think, of them learning their sound and their vibe. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. It's he doesn't have like his same singular sound that we've
Not
come
as
to know and love.
Teason-y as
Right.
it
Yeah,
gets
right.
later on.
He's
Yeah.
still figuring it out.
Mhm.
I like you mentioned the bass, Colin. I like the cool like ride bell pattern that
Oh
was going on. I see you, Steven. Like we love Dave Douglas, but man, Steven, you showed up on this record in some cool
dude.
ways, and this is one of them.
Yeah. Some
Cool ride bell pattern.
good punk drums for sure.
Yeah. But Josh, to your point about thinking it's my favorite track, it is a fun song. Like it's really cool to use an evergreen sci-fi concept of time travel, and specifically an amazing Zemeckis classic,
yes,
as a way to talk about actions, consequences, regret, choices, maturity, growth. You know, it's great. I'm here for it.
Yeah. No, there are some songs on here that definitely feel very early Relient K of like, I don't know, that maybe don't have the seeds of like what Thiessen's lyrics would become, but this one I feel like does. You're like, this is in line with the stuff you will write later on.
Yeah, you can tell he's a young songwriter though. Like it definitely has that like silly kind of thing, but using something that we all know to like flip that around to something else.
Like,
but then
especially admitting his shortcomings, which is very Thiessen.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is the most like overtly quote unquote Christian I've heard Relient K. Like most of this album. No, most of this album.
Oh,
and I mean, and this song too. Like
I
think it just speaks to being a young songwriter.
And figuring out, like, I feel like he was trying to decide if he wanted to be a serious songwriter. Like you can be a great songwriter and write a silly song, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And you can be a great songwriter and write a serious song with some, snark and silliness in it. And I feel like he found out that he wanted to be that. And this was the tunnel that he went through to, like, come out on the other side and be like, oh, that's what I want.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So... yeah, and I think there's a lot of moments on this album that reveal that. And it's like he was, in the chrysalis figuring it out.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing he does on this song that I think he continued on in ways that got better, but I still think it works on this one is the line, I gave him my track record, he gave me a clean slate, I'm forgiven and I'm living with no sin on my plate. Rhyme scheme, cadence, amazing, 10 out of 10, no notes. But he does this funny thing that I think is kind of like a trademark. It's a trademark move
Nice.
for Matt. He has this mischievous trickster energy of blending, like fusing metaphors, right? We've got a track record, we have a slate, and now we have no sin on the plate. And it's like, what is going on? But you don't question it because he's doing it with a wink and with some confidence.
Right.
And the cadence and the words sound so good together that you're like, I'm not going to question the strange logic. Right. I'm just going to
jump in one to the other.
And it fits perfectly with the Back to the Future reference because that's how you feel watching Back to the Future. Like if you sat down for like a second, the logic of it falls apart. But it doesn't matter because that's not what it's about.
Because it's a fun ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Zemeckis got him again. It works.
Like if you take 2 seconds, all of Back to the Future, all three of them just fall apart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, it crumbles. Sure. Yep.
But it doesn't
Do we think Michael J. Fox has heard this song, by the way?
I don't know. Let's ask him.
Yeah. What do we think he would think
of
it?
On the phone.
I feel like he would like it.
He would be flattered. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would. If someone just mentioned my name.
I like that he specifically mentions, he wishes he was Michael J. Fox, not the character Marty McFly.
Yeah, right.
No, he wants to be Michael J. Fox. Yeah. It's an important distinction.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is.
Because he's pretty cool. The drum rolls around 220 are hilarious. Like, it's big, like, I'm a good drummer, watch me go energy.
Got to show out on the first song,
Yeah.
It's like, this is the precedent we're setting here.
I see you, Steven.
Yep.
I see you.
If it was his only record and he knew he needed to
gotta make an impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Kylan, did you like this as the choice for the opening song?
Yes, loved it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was a perfect choice for
I think it's a perfect opener.
Best candidate. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. That's usually
I just always love to hear about that from you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because it does set the tone. And it's like silly pop culture, but like I like what like we were talking about. Like you can see the seeds of kind of the songwriter that Thiessen becomes. All right, we got anything else on Hello McFly?
2 verses, 2 choruses, and we're out. Just boom.
Yep.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
No bridge.
Just pop punk.
Efficient.
Man, doesn't remind me of any of my other favorite bridges in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Do you have any more bridge facts?
No, not on this song because they don't have a bridge.
Oh, okay.
Can't bring it up.
All right. I mean, you
but
could.
they do have a mini sketch to tee up the next song.
Yep.
At the
True.
end of this song.
True.
What do we think? Is it too on the nose? Is it hilarious? Do we like it?
Also, kind of a
For me,
big
it still
flex to be
works.
like, let's include Toby Mac kind of feature on our record. Like,
I mean,
hey.
or was
Quiet
Toby Mac
feature.
like, I'll sign you guys, but you got to do this dumbass sketch because that's kind of my thing.
Because I love sketches. But so do they.
It's just like
you know?
written. No, I know. It was a match made in heaven.
Seems
That's
like
probably why they got
it
signed.
seems like a match made in pop punk heaven.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I
it's
like it. I
alright.
think it's cool.
yeah.
I think it's a funny way to like, give some context for them knowing how ridiculous the song is.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's them being like, yeah, we get it. This song's weird.
Yeah. Let's move on to track number 2, My Girlfriend. We all know what it's really called.
I know it's funny that they changed the title from
Yep.
the original release from All
Make
Work
it a little
to
more
this one.
PC.
Yep.
So this
exactly.
is the only song on this record that I was familiar with.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's also my favorite song on the record.
No,
I
okay.
knew it. I had a sneaking suspicion at
Dang
least.
it.
Yeah.
I'm over 2. I lost.
Yeah,
both of
you
them.
are. You
Man,
are.
shouldn't have. That's what I get for putting myself out there.
Yeah.
Kyle,
I
why is
appreciate
it your
you should-
favorite?
It's fun. It's silly.
It is fun.
But it's like it does speak to, once again, you can tell, super young songwriter. Like I think I even read something like he wrote this when he was like 15 or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I legitimately think playing into the controversy around Marilyn Manson already at that time and using something as funny as Marilyn Manson ate my girlfriend as a metaphor for like falling into something like really deep and dark, like I think is
Right.
genuinely really smart. Like it
is.
like really clever, topical. It's also very funny to me that this song sort of got close to the same kind of controversy from certain groups that Marilyn Manson himself did.
Yep.
Like, like Christian moms got like so mad at it without like actually listening to it.
Oh, that's funny.
Mhm.
I feel like this would have been my mom's favorite song. She'd be like, "Yeah, Marilyn Manson will, so you need to stay away from him," kind of thing. But
Yeah,
be
no,
careful.
it
Not.
just- it
Just
just
the
goes-
very mention of him.
Right.
Offended
But it was the
people.
whole but if you talk about Marilyn Manson and say, oh, he ate somebody, like it's evil. It's evil
going to
demon
hell.
music.
Yep.
But you know what? Like he's because Marilyn Manson was like really cool for a while, but Matt Thiessen called it in 2000 saying Marilyn Manson, he's not nice.
Nope.
I mean, it's
Shows are overpriced.
undershooting it a little bit. It's
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah. Yep.
validated.
He had some intuition about
I
that.
mean, he knew
Um,
because he went to Matt Hoop's school, so Hoops probably knew some
Dude.
things. So,
all right. Because we're on that lyric, I gotta say, I've got a misheard lyric moment on that lyric.
okay.
Oh boy.
I genuinely thought until I don't even know, it was very, very, very late in the game, that I thought the lyric was Marilyn Manson, what's the matter with school? As in, Marilyn Manson had some kind of problem with the American education system, and Matt Thiessen took it upon himself to enthusiastically jump in to defend it.
To defend the public education system.
Yep.
I love that.
I'll have
What's the
you know,
matter
Marilyn
with
Manson.
school?
I think the public education system is just great.
Yeah.
It's just
school is
fine.
cool, Marilyn Manson.
That's the thing. It had the DARE program vibe to it. And I was like,
Yes.
Matt, what are you
Yep.
doing? I was always so confused. And then way later, I was like, oh, no, he's talking about Matt Hoops.
No, I
That's
didn't know it was that
awesome.
lyric until a couple days ago, honestly.
That's so funny.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
great.
I mean, it's
Loving
it's
this.
it's funny because it begins the tradition of like the Matt Hoops
Yes.
reference
Uh-huh.
song
Mm-hmm.
precedent.
Honestly, I wish they went to that well more often, you know?
I know.
Yeah, me too.
It's always good.
Watch their next
fun to
album. We'll
learn
have a
about his
song
life.
called Gray Snow, and we're going to be the only people that are like, wait a second. It's like, we just did an episode on this.
We know why.
We
Yep.
know.
No, I love especially at that moment that he just start saying other facts about Marilyn Manson. Like, he's not nice. He went to hoop school. His shows are overpriced. Like, it kind of goes off the rails there, but in a way that I enjoy.
More reasons
very
to not
funny.
trust the guy.
Yeah, he's gouging you.
We'll give you all of them.
I genuinely love the line. She'd rather gaze in Satan's eyes than on a steeple. That's like a legit good line.
intense.
Yeah, it evokes an image. That's for sure. This song is such a weird, unique relic of its time too. Like kind of as we've been talking about, like the contentious nature of it, like the culture wars happening on a wider scale, like between like secular music and MTV and like the Lifeway youth group culture. This song just hit, I think, at a really pivotal time and a weird time.
Yes,
And I think that's why it helped it kind of like bubble up a little more than a lot of the other tracks on the album. And it has a crazy music video. Can we talk about the music video, please?
Yes,
Kaiju Marilyn Manson. Like,
yes, is wild.
they have electric laser powers, the band.
It's very much.
They
of
go
its time,
inside Marilyn Manson's like
too. It's very fun.
organs. There's a Scooby-Doo scene
Yeah,
where they're like running back and forth. It's bananas.
I need more bands to do music videos.
Man,
like
I don't
that.
think I've ever seen it. Actually,
You've never seen it?
No,
Oh,
I've never
Josh.
seen it.
Should we do
Oh,
like
man.
It's a treat.
We've tried it twice to
Yeah, maybe
talk
we'll do
about
it
music
after this
videos on the
ep or
Patreon.
something. Yeah,
It's never
We
worked.
could do that
One
as a bonus episode.
we didn't even release on the Patreon, so
it's true.
it was that bad.
Yeah.
It was.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
But this video would be, I
Yeah.
think, great content.
Yeah, I think
mean,
this
Matt,
would be more akin to the 5-iron one.
Matt
the one
Thiessen
that worked.
beats a tiny Marilyn Manson inside the larger Marilyn Manson that they're all in. He beats Marilyn in rock, paper, scissors. And that's how
It's great. Yeah,
the resolution comes about.
it's perfect. It's silly. It's fun. They don't take themselves too
yeah.
seriously. Like
The
It
bulletproof premise for me.
so.
Yeah.
One, I don't think you could write this song again today, but
No.
Definitely not.
if you were to try, what would be the modern day reference? Like the Paris Olympics? Ain't my girlfriend? I don't know. We're already so many news cycles past that. Even I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
so old.
Like that was an old bit 6 months ago. Is there anyone that like freaks people
No,
out?
things just move too fast these days.
I
maybe.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elon's Cybertruck ran over my baby.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know. Something
All right.
like
We'll workshop it.
yeah.
I do have a note that Hoops was recently on Sadie Hawkins' pod for his
Yes.
Hoops I Did It Again.
Excellent.
Which shout out to them in that interview. But I thought it was interesting that he was talking about that they didn't want to include this song on the record because they felt like they, quote, had already told that joke, but the label really wanted it on there, which makes sense since they made it like the single in the
Right,
thing.
yeah.
So makes sense that they were like probably not stoked on why, because it was such an old song and they'd already done it, but
Right.
it's still,
They were over
I
it.
was like going in, I knew this song and I was like, I was never really big into this song. And then I was listening to it, I was like, it's a good song. It's catchy. Like it's fun. So
and
like,
it's funny,
I can't
yeah.
deny it. Yeah.
Yep, I get it. And I think it was a good representation of who they were at this point, right?
Yep.
Like to get people
Totally.
in to them, it makes sense.
Also, Steven did some vocals on this song with Matt. And
Yeah,
so
he
there's
did-
like moments.
He did vocals on a couple songs, I know for
yeah,
sure.
so there's like moments where it's like
Right,
Matt's
Mr. Research?
voice is all over the place.
Let me pull
and
out
then,
my,
And then you also have a second voice coming
Yeah.
in to kind of like create a little more or less. I'll say less homogeny.
He does have
which-
vocal credits.
Yeah, in some ways
Yeah.
works.
I think he did the scream on the one song that's got the screams too.
Softer to me. Yeah,
Yes.
I think he did some of the call and response on the verses, but I could be wrong about that on this song. I mean,
Hmm.
Could be.
but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, let's get a wake up call.
Beep, beep, beep.
Thank you. Track 3, wake up call.
Jesus gave you a wake-up call. Take this world with a grain of salt.
I like the muted acoustic
Yeah,
I
the
love how it
acoustic is a
starts.
nice change.
It's a really good way to start. Yeah.
and the floaty delay on the vocals.
Like you
Oh,
can
nice.
tell too. Like I think you can see some Mark Lee Townsend
Oh yeah,
touches kind of starting to come through.
Yep.
trying to zhuzh things up.
But then when the full band stick like comes in, is it just me? It feels a little rough. Da-na-na-na-na. Like I feel like that line's not clear. Like it's just barely outside of their technical ability at the time. Like
Well, I think there's also like a little bit of friction between the bass line and the guitar line. The rhythmically,
Yeah.
like what they're doing doesn't gel really. Each individual line is great, but together
Right.
they kind of fight.
Yeah, they
and so
almost,
it
like,
does feel kind of slapdash
phase each other out
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I love the disco beat though.
I
Little
love the disco
drums.
beat in the chorus.
Love the
disco
Yes.
beat.
It's
It's
great.
very effective.
I love this part right
Yeah.
here too. The high bass note at 116 is so unserious and so funny to me. And I just, I love it. I like legitimately love it though. Or it's just,
And that's the kind of
I
stuff
love
you
it.
can
I
get
love it.
away
I
with
love it.
in this genre, right? In this
Right.
era. Like it's like they were doing all kinds of weird stuff like that and they were just like, yeah, this is us. This is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even question it.
We made
Whereas
Matt-
now we listen to it and we're like, that's so silly. Probably when they recorded it, they were all like, oh yeah, that's great. That's cool.
yeah,
Do it.
Right,
Brian's
right.
like, guys, I got this. Watch this.
yeah.
Yep.
Like, I mean, if like 3 albums later they do a moment like that, there's probably like a riff or something, you know, like
Well,
a lick.
And there's
Totally.
a pinch harmonic in this song, which I'm like, how many Relient K songs have pinch harmonics in there?
This one,
This might be the only one.
This
I
just
don't
this
know.
one.
It might honestly be. We'll have
Yup.
to keep an ear out for future RK records, but
That's true.
that made me
Yeah.
chuckle too. It's definitely
Yep.
probably Thiessen doing that with how he plays with his thumb. I don't know how you can do a pinch harmonic, so I'm assuming that was Hoops. But
That's so funny.
and I love the Wendy's line now, knowing that Thiessen actually worked
Yes.
at Wendy's.
Got some much needed context for that. Besides that though, lyrically, I don't love this one. It just
Yeah.
didn't
It's weird because it's like
hit me.
he's having a conversation with someone and then he's talking about Jesus.
Right.
And so it doesn't square with me between like the chorus idea and the verse idea. It's
I felt like that
I kind
kept
of want him
happening
to
a
be
lot.
like throughout the album.
Throughout the album, it's just like it felt like we kind of changed lanes halfway
Right.
through.
Between the verses
rather
and the
than just
choruses
being
or-
like this song is yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I could see that. And I've definitely felt that way on this one. It's one of those things that like there's a lot of moments lyrically on this album that I didn't question as a kid because I was just like, yeah, I don't know. We're
This is
singing
how you
about
write
Charles in
songs?
charge.
Yeah.
We're getting a wake up call. All right, great. But yeah, the more you analyze it, the less it holds up under scrutiny. But that doesn't mean it doesn't still vibe. Like
Right.
I kind of don't mind like the weird bass line and the weird guitar line, and that's my nostalgia talking, to be
Yeah.
honest. But I'm not mad about it because I didn't have a problem with it then, and I'm kind of grateful for that because it means I can listen with a little more
Yeah,
grace, I guess.
for sure.
But I also see it from like on a technical side. I'm kind of like, yeah,
yeah,
didn't quite
could have been.
gel.
Yeah.
And
But
these
also,
lyrics could be
it's a nice
stronger and more cohesive.
time capsule of just where they were, and
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
so it makes it a little bit
Yes.
more, fun then, and definitely more
Yeah.
permissible.
In context, yeah, it's really, really fascinating. Actually, this whole album like is very cool to unpack, like what they were working on and where they were headed.
It's interesting because in a lot of ways, like musically, like there are so many things that, like specifically, like the harmonies on this chorus, like there are things you can tell they're already so good at,
Oh yeah,
and then there are
locked
things
in.
that you can tell that like they're not there yet, like they're still
Right.
a really young band, you know.
Yeah, but they're
So
on their
they're-
way.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting moments like that where it's like, oh, you're not quite there, buddy. Or it's like, oh, no, you're like already there. You know, like just like with
Right.
certain things.
Also, I'm realizing I think Steven actually did the call and response vocals on this song. Sorry, that was my bad
Okay.
earlier.
Okay. That makes sense.
The little back and forth of like, are you sleeping when you're praying? That
Yeah.
whole
I like that they had a drummer who did call and response vocals, and then they got a new drummer who also did call and response vocals
Also did
with
that,
Thiessen a lot. Yeah.
hey man,
Yeah.
It's
If
part
it
of the
ain't
job
broke,
description. Yeah. You got to be able to play drums and do
And
some vocals.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right, we got anything else? Josh, you have anything on Wake Up Call?
No, I do like the instrumental outro. That's fun to kind of like spend a little bit more time. We've had two songs that are pretty quick to now have a song that is going to indulge a little bit more.
Yeah.
And even more on the next track.
That's true.
Yep.
The track number 4, Benediction.
I don't mind this. I like it.
I don't either.
Beach
I think
Boys
it's cool.
moment.
Yeah. And the round vocals, like just kind of continuing that idea from the last song. Like, yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah. Lays the groundwork for some of the intros and outros we'll get later on in Forgetting Not So Down.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's I'm here for like short tracks that sort of continue the theme or continue on from the track before. Like occasionally. Like if it's here and there, like
but
I'm
take
here
it
for it.
slightly in a new direction.
Yeah.
A variation on a theme.
If you were doing this record today, would you make this part of the same song or would you keep it split? Curious which ones you prefer. Format.
I'm okay with it being a separate track, I think.
It's different enough.
Yeah. And then you can decide whether you want it or not. Right? Because the song doesn't like Wake Up Call doesn't need this. I think it benefits from it, but there might be some people that don't want a minute 40 them singing in a round with like washed out guitars. You know what I mean? Like maybe people just want the pop punk, So I think just having that option.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm kind of torn. Like I tend to like it as a standalone track on this one, and then I don't feel the same on the one that happens later.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Like I'm torn. Also, do y'all? Okay, maybe it's just me, but I feel like to your point earlier, Kylan, about Matt's voice sounding a little all over the place across this album. There feels like there's like a weird affect happening in the way they're pronouncing words and like singing on this one. I don't know if it's like all Matt layered vocals or if it's, multiple, like if Hoops is singing or Steven or what, but it feels almost like a Sesame Street kind of thing. I know that pride and summertime come before fall. Almost missed the bus, but Jesus gave me a wake up call. It's like
no, oh man,
overdone.
Now I can't hear that.
Yeah, I know. You see Elmo bouncing around now.
Yeah,
it's the Muppets Relient K song.
Yeah. It always kind of. I was always kind of like, what is going on? Like, why did we change our voice so much for this part?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I get doing the Brian Wilson moment. I understand that, but like, they just sang the way they sang, and it almost feels like Matt's like aping that, or so. I don't know, but maybe it's all in my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
a good point, though.
Could be making stuff up. Maybe it's not even real.
Yeah. Well, track number 5, When You're Around. So, much like in our May episode, we found out there was another band that had a song called the same thing. This is also the name of a Motion City soundtrack song. So I can only assume that this was like a phrase that was in Infinite Jest or something. I know I can't do it again, but
can't pull it out on the
I'm hoping.
Good luck with that. Lightning striking twice.
Yeah.
That's one of my only notes on this song is that it is a Motion City soundtrack song, and I think I like that song a little bit more. But
one of my favorite things on this song is the fact that you can hear the fingers, like the string noise in between the chords, like because it actually like those happy accident moments, like the added texture that actually places you in the room and kind of like draws you in. I love little things like that.
Yeah,
I know it's like a really funny note to have about the song is like the noises between the song.
No, I love that. Yeah,
but I think it's part of the DNA of this song, and it always has kind of been an interesting part of it.
For sure. I think his voice on the When You're Around is the most like Mark Hoppus kind of thing. Like they're trying, it's like a real Blink-182 kind of thing.
Pouring it on thick.
Yeah.
This is one, lyrically, this one feels like the least deeper thought out to me. I feel like
Yeah.
I listen to it. I'm like, I don't really know what the song is about.
That
and it
might
doesn't
also
feel
speak
like
to the Blink-182 thing
that could,
as well.
yeah,
though, too,
they're
you know?
really channeling them for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those. There's nothing really much for me to grab. Like it's catchy, but other than that, there's not really a lot for me to grab onto. Other than
No, you're right.
that first
It's
like
real
lead
surface
line
level.
is pretty weird in a way that's like not super catchy, but does kind of make it memorable. It's just an odd choice. I'm like, that's your lead line here. It's a little like abrasive, but it is memorable in that regard. So
That makes it like a good like middle of the album track, I feel like.
yeah, like
Yeah.
pick things energy back up again.
All right,
Totally.
guys. Well, let's do it. Track number 6, Softer to Me.
Life, could you be a little softer to me? Life, could you be more gentle to me?
This one definitely like the early heavy Relient K. Like it made me it was like, oh, because you get this sound a lot on Anatomy, and so like, oh yeah, I'm very familiar with like this sound of like the side B of Anatomy.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so funny to me that this song was essentially written by teenagers. Because they're like, life, could you be a little softer to me? Life, could you be a little more gentle to me? I'm like, boy, just
You don't know
wait.
what's coming.
Like, if
Yeah.
I just quit my Wendy's job because I slept till 3 p.m., be like, life, be more gentle to me, please. I'm like, oh, you sweet poor baby boy.
It is funny to think about, and at the same time as that's true, and it is very like it's hilarious that somebody that really hasn't lived that much life can write a song like that. I think it's also maybe the most lyrically mature in the whole album.
Yeah.
Like, because think about it this way: what if Merle Haggard wrote this song, Kylan? I think he could have written a song very similar.
oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah, for
Like
sure.
if you put this, like if you add some, if you make an acoustic song and you add some like pedal steel or something, it actually
Right.
kind of, it could go on a Willie record or something, you know?
Oh, yeah. Could go after Waylon's Stop the World and Let Me Off.
Exactly. So that's how it hit me, was like, oh, this was like a moment where Matt, even though his lived experience at that time didn't give him a lot of like, trauma to speak out of, like he still was touching on something that's very universal. And that, paired with the fact that it's probably the most dynamic song on the record, and it's a favorite of theirs to play, or was for a while, to play live, is why this is my favorite song.
There we go.
Okay.
Well, now I have to do
TJ.
a country cover of this song.
Yes.
You absolutely should.
That'd
Yeah.
be fun. All right.
But I think it's
All right,
like he
favorite.
found some simple terms to talk about, like big feels. And I mean, even just like, we're busy doing nothing because it's vanity we prize. You can't see because you can't see through your eyes. They're covered with a film. You're blinded by yourself. You're the one to blame, but you pretend it's someone else. Acknowledging that at 15, 16, 17 is like, I got to give him credit. Like seeing that like we can be the source of our own misery and the reason that life isn't soft or gentle, like, can be us. Like that's the reason sometimes. And like crying out and like asking for help. I also like that the chorus, we just get a taste of it when it drops down, right? Into that like pseudo new metal moment. It felt like a quiet POD song almost. Like where it drops down to the quiet chorus. But I like that the chorus then like expands when we get it the next time, and it stays there, and it really like qualifies and like justifies the screamo section that comes later when we get the
I love the
Steven
screamo
scream vocals.
I love
It's
it.
pretty cool.
Josh, how do you feel about
I think it's a dynamic track.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, obviously we talked about it a little bit on I think because Life After Death and Taxes, there's like those like later tracks have it on there. So it is cool to be like, oh yeah, they were like even toying with this in
were doing
2000
this.
before like screamo was like a thing. Like it was fun that
Right,
they were
right.
including that in there. Yeah.
Totally.
I also, TJ, I do really like the drastic tempo shifts of going down back and forth for like the verses
Yes.
and the choruses. Like that's a fun move that I don't know is a bigger step as a band.
And that feels like it speaks to a little bit too of some of the ways they would change up in the future.
In the future, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Feels like a blueprint for some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think on their first like official studio release, like this is a pretty cool song to exist in the middle of their first album. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to them. Kind of like you were saying, Kylan.
sure.
Like certain things they had figured out early, and,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
a lot of those
exactly.
are showcased on this track.
TJ, have you heard the acoustic version on the Creepy EP?
I have.
Yeah. Which do you have like a preferred version between the two of them?
I like the original, but I also dig that it exists that way as well. I think that's really cool.
Well, I like it. And I think it works really well that way, which is fun because it's also like the heaviest song on this record, and that's the one they
Right.
chose to make acoustic,
do,
and it
yeah.
works really well.
I know.
in that regard too.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got two favorite songs. Josh, we're not at yours yet.
I'm the lone holdout.
Mm.
It's going to be this next one. Track number 7, Charles in Charge. Okay, guys, can we,
I mean,
Are
we
we
have
spinning
to.
off?
We're spinning off.
We're spinning off? Let's spin off. Let's
We're
go,
gonna
buddy.
jump the shark.
I fully expected it.
Well, actually, though, my first note is that Mark Lee Townsend on the phone in the beginning?
Dude, it's gotta be. There's no one.
Right?
I was trying to figure that out. It sounds like him. Mark, let us
Josh,
know,
what do you
man.
think? Like, yeah, hold
Play
on.
it again.
Hey, Charles, check this out. This is fat.
Like,
Gotta
that's
be.
got to be Mark Lee Townsend, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
It's gotta
gotta
be.
be.
I'm ready to be wrong, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So you guys remember very early on in the show, I talked about, or I tried to wedge into the show because I created a card game called Relevant, which was pop
You did.
culture connections,
Mm-hmm.
which I still need to just release that.
Well, and we did a whole thing about Kevin Bacon. Like that was a whole
Right.
riff
Yeah.
on an early episode. So
But
there's precedent.
there's some fun pop culture connections between this and some other things. So first off, you guys know Charles in Charge, right? The show. You
Only
guys ever
because of
watched-
this song, to be honest.
Really?
I've
Really?
never
Yeah.
seen it.
I didn't know about that
You've
show.
never
Yeah.
seen it?
It ran.
Nope.
It
5
ran
seasons,
from 84
dude. 1984.
to
Scott Baio.
1990, I think.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know about Charles in Charge, but I do know about the blah 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 blog. So,
There you go. Yeah. But the
Nice.
funnest thing to me is that the two main stars of Charles in Charge were, of course, Scott Baio and Mr. Willie Ames,
mm-hmm. I know that.
As he
Bible
reaches for
man
his VHS.
himself.
Oh my god.
This was what year is that, Kylan? What year is
Because
that?
Bible Man started in 1995.
It's so funny that they didn't include any Bible Man things in this song if that was
Right.
already a thing
I know.
by then.
I know.
They name dropped the girl from Baywatch, or they referred to her,
Well,
but
yeah,
they don't talk about
Because
Bible
Matt
Man.
had the hots for her, dude. He didn't have the hots for Bible man.
She's part of the ladies in general that he's thinking.
Yeah,
That's
right. Just ladies in general. But yeah, I know. I was surprised that there wasn't like a Bible Man reference. They were probably
Yeah.
too old for Bible Man, though. I don't know if they
Probably.
like clocked that.
I feel like the people that Bible man was for were too old for Bible man.
You're probably right.
Possibly.
Is
would
that a
be
bad
me
take? I don't know.
As a 7-year-old who saw Bible Man live. I did actually go see Bible Man live one time. So.
Oh wow.
Dude, I think I did too.
You probably.
I think
had
you're
to have.
unlocking a core memory for me.
Wow.
Yeah, Willie Ames had a really interesting career because
No
he
kidding.
did Bible Man for a long time, and then he was like a cruise director. Do you guys see that? He was like a cruise director
No.
for like 6 years. I don't
What?
know. Let's get Willie Ames on the show. Oh, that's our follow up to Extreme Days
Yep.
about getting Craig on. Our next movie
Cool.
DMs now. We're gonna get
Do it.
Bible Man himself
Let's-
on the
let's
show.
do it.
All right, I'm calling it. I'm calling my shot right here. It's gonna happen.
All right.
Yeah. Besides that, I don't understand this.
Well, that's my note. Is
Song.
any idea why they wanted to cover this theme song of all the options out there in the height of like cable sitcom world.
It's a good theme
Like-
song though, and I mean the show was huge.
I mean, sure.
it was a big show, so it probably was something that
It had a
they were
moment.
into. Yeah,
Yeah.
It hit at the right time for the Relient K
yeah,
boys.
but overall, I don't understand why this is on here.
No, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
assuming they're just like, let's pick something familiar just so that people can latch onto it quickly. But
Yep.
this
Or
is
is
an
this
interesting choice.
something they were like doing at live shows because they thought it was funny, and then
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
Then
because
it made its
later
way
they would
to
do
a
like the
record.
Office theme. So just kind
Wait,
of
what?
Because they would play like
Yeah,
they would play the Office, but they like Thiessen wrote some lyrics and then they would go into the
Okay.
rendition of the Office theme.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
this
maybe they
is just the
thought it was-
first
it was
part
funny.
of that.
I got two things to say about it. Only Relient K could get away with a song referencing Jesus, a pizza parlor, and Baywatch in the same line.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Only
I
Relient
bet
K.
Merle Haggard could do it.
Hey, man, show me the song. Prove me wrong.
Well,
I'm ready.
he's- I mean, he didn't. I'm just saying he could. You were saying
Yeah.
Relient K is the only band that could do it.
Okay, I'll rephrase. Relient K is the only band that did.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, got me there.
Also,
Got me
second
there.
thing, Matt Thiessen on solo guitar. He's the bomb. Do
That
we
was
think
very funny. That was.
Do we think-
Yeah.
it was Matt later that said, "Oh, that was terrible," or whatever? Like, who
Yeah, I
said
don't
that was
know.
terrible? Because there's an interesting dynamic at play, right? Is it
Right.
like another bandmate or a audience member or
That sounded like
Matt?
Mark to me as well, though. Maybe not. I don't know.
I think it's Matt.
I think it's Matt.
If anybody out there feels confident or knows the answer, let us know.
it's funny because it is terrible.
It's a burning
his
question for me.
but it's like that's like a
Put him
situation.
on the spot, and that's
like,
the best
like
thing you
we've
can do,
all-
you know? He's like, I wish I was playing piano instead, guys.
Right.
Don't put me on the spot with my lead guitar.
But that's like TJ. I don't know if you've because I know you were a drummer for so long before you like moved into
yeah, I can't
songwriter and guitar.
I can't solo,
But is that
dude.
but is that because that's a situation I've very much been in, and I assume Josh, you maybe have too, in like a jam or something, where someone's like, "All right,"
where the
take a
band's like,
solo.
"All right, you
And then
go,
you're-
take it."
I'm like, I
It's
know
like,
the
I got
minor
nothing.
pentatonic. Let's just do that. I know not
Mm-hmm.
even licks. I just know the scale. Let's
Yep, just pick notes on the scale,
yeah.
really
it.
fast.
Yeah.
bop around.
I've been there.
Yeah, no, unless it's a line I've written, I can't just like bust something out.
Right.
You know,
Nope.
like that's not how I work. So
Yeah.
Same.
it's a line. It was a guitar line.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a lead guitar line.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
As
Was
a
it the
solo, I
bomb?
don't know, but
was it the bomb? I don't know.
We don't know.
No, I have solo in quotes on my on my notes.
That's so
But he also plays with his thumb, so I mean, I'm sure it's not using a pick, so he probably can't like go that fast and have like
Right.
a lot of string dexterity skipping between strings. So
That's true.
I'll give him a little bit of credit, you know.
But didn't
Yeah.
who played with their thumb? Did Stevie Ray Vaughan play with his thumb?
He also used a pick.
Oh, there's
saying-
some famous guitarist just uses their thumb. Jammers, let us know. Track number 8, Staples.
All you could hear was kachunk, kachunk, kachunk. All you could hear was Dr. Ben Staples in this punk. All you could hear.
I like this intro.
Ka-chunk, 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 guys.
Yeah, TJ,
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
you've referenced this at least once, maybe twice on the show already.
Yep, and in the group chat.
Because
Yes.
this was one of those songs that made its way to my playlist early on before I heard the rest of the album. I think it was Hello McFly, Staples, Wake Up Call. That might have been it.
This is prime for a middle school kid to love.
Yeah, man.
That kind of song.
100%.
Exactly. It's such a weird flex of a song, but like I know they had a blast writing it and playing it.
Yeah.
It's goofy, it's weirdly graphic, and then it turns a corner to a heartfelt like island
Right.
Beach Boys movie scene.
Yep. Yep.
And then just fades out.
I
It's
love
such
this
a weird
lead line
song.
by Hoops too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
good.
Yeah, it's really
the
good.
pull offs. Yeah,
So you
Yeah.
think this was based on a true story?
I've read that.
I
don't
have
know.
to imagine so.
Yeah.
It's just objectively fun to yell ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
That is
true.
a blast to do.
That's true.
Yes, it is true.
You got to teach your daughter to say that, TJ.
Yeah.
Oh,
her
yeah,
first
Add
word.
this to the
sure.
dad music rotation.
Yeah, exactly. She'll
Yep.
love it. I do have a
It's
Graham
going to
Jams
the
now
top.
on this one.
Oh boy.
Josh, thank you.
And they didn't
Thank
ask
you, me
permission,
too.
so
Yes, they did not ask
Nope.
permission. TJ, I'm guessing we have the same one.
I'm sure we do.
Maybe we could have found a better way to phrase "since you hit the pole because of speed." It sounds like drugs, guys,
Yeah,
but
it's
maybe-
confusing.
Yeah, I was like, since you hit the pole with all that speed,
With
And
all that-
5
right.
seconds later, and it's not about
Yeah,
drugs.
at
and
such
it's
at such a speed.
boom. Yes, yeah,
So many
yeah.
ways.
So yeah, a little
feels
more
like
clear.
Workshop
Like-
that.
teenage first thought, best thought.
Yep. And here's
Because of
the
speed.
second one in the same song that was first thought, best thought, and somehow no one questioned it. But the good thing would be is that we would always know. But the good thing would be is that we would always know.
Yeah.
This is like
a
an
real
Amberlin
we are
moment.
who we are when we were when.
We are who we are when we were when.
Yeah.
But the good thing would be is that we would always know.
I love
Wait,
that.
I'm sorry.
I like it more when you say it like that, TJ.
I know. I always love TJ's readings of lyrics like
too.
that I just like don't even think about, and then I'm like, oh wait. When you
Because the thing
emphasize
is, I was
every
singing
word,
along
like,
with
yeah.
this at like when I was in 7th grade, okay, and
Right.
it's been in my brain since then, and I had a problem with it then. So it's nice that I can get justice,
Yeah.
grammar justice. Don't do speed, kids.
Yeah. My only thing is when all the instruments come in the intro, are they like out of tune?
I
feels
think there's some pitchy stuff.
It feels pretty
happening.
out of tune to me. I don't know if it's the guitar or the bass, but I think it's the bass. I think the bass is out of
maybe,
tune.
maybe the bass.
Just a little bit.
Just enough to
just
let you
ever
know it's
so
real.
slightly.
Yeah,
Just
Yep.
enough to bug the shit
Yeah.
out of me. But like like and it's such a pedantic I don't really
Yeah,
mind, but for some reason this week I'm like, this fucking song, the fucking out of tune bass.
Brian,
So
tune your
mad.
bass.
And this
Come on,
comes from a
Pittman.
guy who most of the recordings that I send to Josh, I'm like, what do you think of this song idea? You're like, they're good. I think you could tune a little bit.
And you're like, don't listen to the bass.
Yeah.
yeah. Disclaimer.
just ignore
there.
it. Do we think it's a real flute at the end of the song there?
I'm thinking.
Or do we think it's like a
no.
MIDI?
No.
I'm thinking
situation?
MIDI, but
Cool.
I still love it. I think, and
Me too.
Starflyer 59 has conditioned me to love a MIDI flute solo. But
Yeah.
I just also love how this song kind of evolves from like ultimate punk kind of song of a story about a friend crashing and getting staples in his head to
Right.
then like the fun little like you said, the island kind of beat with a flute solo. That's not a real
Right.
flute, but it's still fun. It
Yep.
was almost my favorite
It's-
song. I was really enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
It's a good one.
It's a weird song, and it's fun because it goes from silly staples in the head to like eternal life and
Yeah.
remembering.
But
a
the
loved
good thing
one,
would
you know?
be is that
is that
The good
we
thing
would always know.
All right, guys, let's move on to track number 9, Anchorage.
Kylan, do you mean the song that could have just been an additional 30 seconds at the end of Staples?
Yeah. They didn't need this one. I wrote
This did not need to be a separate track.
minor league American football.
Yeah,
yes, 100%.
it's also that.
It is, yes. I just want to know why it's named Anchorage, but other than that, no
Me
notes.
I saw somewhere online written, so I don't remember where. It was written that this is the only, and it's not this on Spotify. So Josh, you're gonna have to confirm for me, but somewhere it was written that this was the only Relient K song with that started with a lowercase letter.
I feel like they've done that before on other songs.
Well, this is on
Or
the
since
record. It is the only one that does start with a lowercase. on
But
the
someone
back
said their
of the
entire
That album.
of their
On that, yeah.
of their discography.
I think they're all lowercase on
Okay,
the back
cool.
of him.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That person was wrong.
They didn't know what they were talking about.
It's moments like this that remind me this is a perfect place for me to be. Like, actually, I already know that all the songs on the back of them are lowercase.
Yeah.
It's a dumb thing to know that I do know. So
Well, that's why we keep you around for now.
there you go.
Be proud of your knowledge.
Still on
Till I
probation.
move
but
to
here.
Anchorage.
Yeah, I got nothing else about this song. It's fun. I don't know why it's here. Album's already too long. Track number 10, 17 magazine.
I've never seen your motives more squeaky clean. My 17 magazine tells me that you're in love.
That tom sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? At the beginning there, where it's like dum dum dum
Tom
dum
or a
dum dum dum.
snare?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it might be the snare.
Might be the snare.
The snare sounds a little funny to me.
Sweet, sweet bass. I like the surfy vibe.
Yep.
I like that they kind of switched it up into the like surfy punk kind of like.
Yeah.
This one also reminds me of Blink-182 a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that this one doesn't have like any like the Christian messaging kind of like forced into it. Like it's just like
Yes.
a fun little arcade song, which I think is them being like, oh, we can kind of like this and Nancy
Like
Drew.
we don't have to say Jesus
like
in every
we
song.
can just write a silly
Yep.
song to be
Yeah.
a silly song, and it
They were learning that.
maybe has a little bit of commentary in it, but it's not like heavy handed or anything.
Right.
No, it's what's unspoken, right? Because even we get through the verse, we get to the chorus. It's not until this moment that we're hearing right now, where he says, "My 17 magazine tells me that you're in love," that we even question the premise, right? We're sort of like, you can as a listener like buy in, and it's a very straight up normal sounding like, "Oh, am I in love? Like, what is this? Give me some advice, sister." Help me out here. And you want to buy in and like believe it and be like, oh yeah, there's some wisdom being exchanged here. And then you find out it's actually like a social commentary on ridiculous like magazine
Right.
quizzes.
Right.
And how kids, that age, like they feel like their love lives are so serious and life and death. They trust magazines. Now I guess the equivalent would be like social media, as if
Right.
they're like gospel or law or something. And so on a songwriting level, I like that you kind of go with the trick for a while and you're duped. And then you're like, oh, they're poking fun,
Yeah.
And it makes you think.
which is cool. It's a clever, cheeky, well executed song.
Yeah.
100%.
I viewed it as like the prequel to Mood Rings, where Thiessen needs 17
Yes.
magazine to like realize
Yes.
he's in love, and then he needs a mood ring later to like figure out what's going on with the girl that he got
Yep.
from 17
100%.
magazine. Yeah.
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 I like that. I like that
Yeah.
headcanon.
Oh, I like the line where he, like a very like you were talking about here, of just ways to introduce in small things. And I love the line, and I'm sure of myself, I think. Feels very
yes.
like Relient K. Yeah. Just so quick, so small,
100%.
but very Matt Thiessen.
A little wink, I think. I like where Matt goes up into his falsetto for the just the one you need and go for her full speed. Like we're getting a little taste of like, oh, he's a great vocalist and he's got some excellent like head voice and just range, vocal range.
I don't like how contradictory it is, though. You can go for her full speed, but not the pole.
No, it's you shouldn't go for her full speed.
Oh, okay.
Because of speed.
It's consistent.
In
Because
the
of speed.
previous song, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of speed going
Yeah.
on.
That's the thing. He learned his lesson. He was like, I went too fast.
yeah.
I got to slow it down.
Or I learned from my friend.
ran
I
into
don't
a
know
pole.
if he got whoever got the staples.
All right, guys, let's move on to track number 11, Balloon Ride.
Everything from up there. I went on a balloon ride and now everything seems
This is so like 2000s teen sitcom vibes,
Yes.
right? Like a Degrassi or something, or like an early, like
Even Stevens.
like Disney Channel kind of show. That's musically, that's this whole vibe is just like this could 100% be shown with like cut out Polaroids of like some cheeky 12-year-old who's
It's true.
like,
Oh, now
Roger's
somebody's
life.
skateboarding.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Maybe that's why it's my favorite song. I don't know.
this is your
Maybe-
favorite song?
I think it is.
You listen
as
to
I
the
was,
chorus is
motherfucker.
super
I
catchy.
know. It is.
No, it is.
It's like one of those songs where it's like on paper, I should have another favorite song, but I just gotta follow my heart, and I love this song. It's super catchy. I think the verses are really catchy, and specifically, maybe my favorite moment on the whole record is the way that we jump from the chorus right into the second verse at 123.
Yes.
It was just so smooth with that catchy verse
clean.
melody, and then the classic RK palm muted guitars that we get like as a signature sound, like this part.
Well on my way through this life.
Yeah, man,
It
I
just
love that
drops
part.
right in.
It's like
Fluid.
such a small little part that I'm like, it's not very like impressive or anything, but it just works for me so much.
I get it.
So I love it.
Yeah.
You know, and I like the sentiment of the song. It's a good reminder that perspective is a lovely hand to hold.
Nice.
It was good.
Well done, Josh.
Thank you.
No, and I think the drum work and the structure, the arrangement of the song also gives it some dynamic level that helps it kind of differentiate itself from some of the other songs that could be more forgettable, like When You're Around. It could fall into that pitfall, but it doesn't because it's got enough like going for it.
For
I
sure.
can see
Including
Book of Fish.
Bucket of Fish. When things slow down at the end too, we get that last repetition of the chorus and things kind of chill out. We get a lot of space finally in the mix for the first time in a while, where we're hearing like, the drums go to the halftime groove and we get like verb. It might be natural like room sound, or it could be added in post, but some nice verb on the drums and vocals that I didn't fully appreciate until this listen through. But it was a nice little touch. Yeah, Josh, I get
It's
it.
appropriate that they're giving you some space in the mix as you're getting some, getting
On
up
the
in
balloon.
the atmosphere and getting
Yeah.
some
I wonder,
space. Some
I wonder up there
perspective.
that
Yeah,
high in the
exactly.
balloon if the air's for free. Oh,
That's good.
All
That's
right.
real good.
No, they charge
Pressing on. Let's move on to track number 12. Everything will be.
Everything will be just fine. Everything will be just fine.
I got two in that weren't from this record. I love this little.
I love the intro. Yeah,
Intro.
it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's the first like
Also feels Beach Boysy a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and is this the only time we get like a key part on the record?
I think so.
I think so.
Which is crazy to think that.
Which I liked
there's-
having at this
yeah.
point in the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was much needed change. And what's cool is like that the filtered drums that are happening, that drum beat underneath. Like I love that it's a bookend. It comes back at the end of the song, and then at that point it just kind of like crumbles away.
Yeah.
So again, some nice production moments. We see you, MLT. You're doing your
I
thing.
like this. I like this little hoop line in the pre-chorus too.
Yes, this was close to being my favorite song, actually.
That makes
Yes.
sense.
If not for a lot
From-
of the reasons
Yeah.
that I mentioned on Softer to Me, like this probably could have grabbed the spot.
I remember like initially whenever I like was digging into the record, Balloon Ride and Everything Will Be were like the two standouts for me for being like, I really like those songs. So
Yeah.
this was up there for me as well.
Yeah, this is another record. We've talked about, there have been a couple records that we've talked about that like, it's less about side A and side B. I feel like the dip is almost like in the middle. Just for me personally, like I like that at this point in the record, they're bringing in some new interesting elements.
Yeah.
And the guitar and the bass trade off on that chorus. So we've got that cool, like very active lead line from Hoops, and then it changes over and Pittman's doing some cool stuff on the bass for the back half of the chorus, which is nice. There's that trade off moment, and it kind of helps remind us like, oh yeah, these are great players, and like even at this stage in the game, they were,
Right.
they had some chops, which is
For
cool.
sure.
Yeah, and the chorus really gives them a chance to shine with their harmonies on the Everything Will Be
Yes.
Just Fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
love.
obviously
I'm so
it's
jealous
just
of
a
their
one
harmonies.
line chorus, but
I
the
know.
harmonies and doing it all makes it very memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Controversial take.
True.
It's a good song.
Everything will
Cool
be
song.
all right because
Mm-hmm.
All right. Track number 13, Nancy Drew. You guys like Nancy Drew? Y'all
My
F with Nancy Drew?
my sisters were real big into Nancy Drew, and I think I remember being like, "Hey, there's a Relient K song about Nancy Drew," and I don't think either of them were like, oh, cool. Let me make that like two things I'm kind of interested in. No, I asked them today. They're like, I don't think I ever listened to that song. I was like, yeah, I don't think it ever stuck with y'all.
That's so funny.
It's really funny to me, like, because the song is very like fun and cheeky. Again, as we've been saying, it's also kind of nerdy to me that Matt decided to write a song about Nancy Drew. Like,
Yeah.
it gives like homeschool vibes, and I don't mean that as like a diss. Like, it's kind of like you're well read in a way, or like you're connected to, you know, literature, even at that, like, you know, at that age, like what's appropriate for
right
a kid.
Even then, though, like I still see Nancy Drew as like such an old thing because, like,
Yeah.
Totally. When was it like first published? 40s, 50s?
I think so. Like Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys were old even in like the 90s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I always associate it with
He
like
respects the classics.
mid-century. Yeah, this is a fun little song.
So Nancy Drew's one of the ladies that Matt was shouting
In
out.
general, one of the general ladies.
Even fictional ones.
Even fictional ladies. He doesn't discriminate. Yeah. I do love the big halftime bridge with the
Yes.
whoas, and then the
Yes.
line, I'll put the
Chuggy
Hardy Boys on the
guitars and
case
stuff.
is fun. Yeah.
But then the line right after it, because no time in history has
Oh my God.
someone denied
Yes.
my face.
He's so it makes Matt seem so conceited. Like, I get that the rhyme was just like sitting there
It's
waiting
just the right
to be
yeah,
plucked.
yeah. But there,
I get
first
it,
thought, best
but
thought. There was no like. Well, if you say the Hardy Boys, you have to say case.
Yeah.
What rhymes with
And
case?
then-
Out of my face.
my beautiful face.
No time.
Yeah.
Someone denied my face. That's just wild.
Yeah. The other two standout things on this track for me are the retrofuturistic synth waterfall that hits in
Yes.
the chorus.
Yes. I love.
It's what I envision
the
the
synth.
Matrix source code visual would sound like.
Mm,
If it made a sound, it would sound like that thing, whatever that is.
yeah, I love it.
I wanna know the
feel
name
like
of that sound.
I feel like the later half of this record, Mark Lee Townsend was like, "Guys, check it out! I got a new synth.
Let's have some,
Yeah.
let's do some fun
Let's
things.
start adding some keys and stuff."
This one's called Neo. What do you think?
That's funny.
Also, the crazy background gang vocals on the last chorus are unhinged. They're so crazy. Like, if you listen close, it sounds like they're, I don't know, man, on speed, maybe.
Just yelling. Yeah.
Ah, no.
Love it.
Are they even singing along to it? Or are they just
Yes,
yelling?
drunkenly.
I think they're just yelling.
They're like, it's the end of
Yeah.
the record. We know it.
Yeah.
But then the outro is great with like that drippy trem guitar and then the vocal.
True.
Yes.
Little doo-wop barbershop moment. Yeah.
So good. It just
So
like
good.
comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh, I love this.
And that's the cool thing is like that in this song we see some elements like, oh, Relient K is flexing silliness and like just bananas unhinged energy, and then they also button it up and they show you like they've got the skills to like
Yeah.
bring the song full circle in a way that's really rewarding.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
It comes down to this last track, track number
Sorta.
14. Yeah. K Car.
So cute. That horn honking. Precious.
This is a good fun riff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All I know is before Jesus was taking the wheel from Carrie Underwood in
You
2005,
beat me to it.
Relient K's driver
He
was
was
Christ, which
driving
leads
a
me to
K
wonder,
car.
boys, is Jesus like their chauffeur to JFK post haste, Jesus? That's the end of the bit. I'm done.
I love it. No, wait, hold on. I gotta take an Uber.
Jeeves
And
is-
then Jesus is coming to pick us up.
Yep. It's great though. Cool track.
Yeah,
Cool
great
concept
ending
to have
song.
a band name and then also have a song that gets to be the silly plucky like mission statement.
Yeah, and you kind of address
To
like,
buoy up.
yeah, this is where we got our name. We have a song about
Yeah.
it too.
Right. Right.
And
I
shout
love
out-
the.
Oh, go ahead.
well, I'll say I love the Brandon Ebel name check.
That's what I was gonna say. Shout out Brandon Evil.
I know that's so
Shout
funny.
out.
Which
That
is
is
like
it's extra
at-
poignant.
at this point in their career though, like because they're already signed to Goatee.
Yep.
Is it more of like a you could have had us, Brandon, kind of thing, like too little, too late?
I
or
wonder. I wonder. And it's extra funny now, right? 25 years later, like since they ended up being a juggernaut band that
Right.
like toured and worked alongside so many of the Tooth and Nail stable bands.
Right.
It's so funny. I love it.
I like it's another weird lead line, like a minute or so in. Wait, where is it? We just listened to it. This. It's like a really simple thing, but it gives it enough like tension. Like it's not like a technically impressive move, but it feels like a live rock and roll kind of move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like a blues jam.
Yes,
lead line,
exactly. Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong there, but somehow.
No.
Well,
There
that
it
makes you
is.
appreciate the real line when it comes back. You're like, oh, okay, that's the one I like.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
we're doing this again. Cool.
All right. Do we want to talk about Secret Track?
Of course.
Yeah.
Where does it come in?
620.
Thank you.
You know, we have the classic secret track. It actually,
Mm-hmm.
we've got the dead air.
Yeah.
You gotta wait.
We should have asked about it, but I think Markley Townsend is a big proponent of the hidden track.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he seems to
yeah.
really enjoy sneaking stuff on records.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hidden Track is to Mark Lee Townsend what Terrible Sketch is to Toby Mac.
Yeah. Valid take. This punk rock picnic is a little indulgent,
Yeah.
but sometimes you
I-
just want like a really rich cheesecake. You know?
Mm.
Is TJ, where I saw on like Discogs that it's called Punk Rock Picnic. Do you know where that name is, came from or
I have no idea.
has been tossed around? Because there's nothing on the record, and I saw like that online, but I was like, I don't know if that's
Where that
like the
came from.
official name from someone asked them. Danny probably asked them in like 2002.
Right.
and,
That's
like,
what I
put
was
it
saying.
on
We
some forum.
we should ask Danny.
I'm sure
He'd
he
be the one
knows.
to know.
Yeah.
I've seen it multiple different places that seem pretty valid. So I don't know. I guess I'm just assuming, but
I mean,
And
it's
Punk
the
Rock
only name
Picnic,
we
that's,
have.
you know-
It's we don't have any other competing
Yeah.
names, so
That's true.
that's what it is.
Just
I want to know where all the background chatter comes from. Like what all
And then
those
it turns
sounds
into
are.
like the accordion piece at the end.
yeah.
So
This is all
Okay.
Just wild.
When it goes to the polka band, I love it. I love it because it feels like a little bit of an in joke of like either Mark Lee Townsend or Thiessen or somebody that was in the room making the decision to put this on there to be like, yeah, we're just amateurs. We're just a dumb little pop punk band from Canton. We're not the pros. These guys are the pros. Because the guy says, let's get back to the pros. And it feels like a giant in-joke at the end of this record, like saying like, all right, you
Right.
dummies,
All
you're
right,
done.
all right. We had our
Get off
fun.
stage.
Yeah.
Let's go to the
They
polka
were the
band that has
opening
a song
set
about the
for-
Cleveland Browns. They're the pros.
That's so funny. Like, I wonder if that happened. I wonder if they played a show at like a picnic or something, and then opened
A
for
punk rock
polka band.
picnic. You could have been. I love
I've
that
been in plenty of
headcanon.
situations
Alan.
like that. Like,
Yeah, you
that's
have.
happened to me.
You know about that.
where it's like we played a farmer's market or like a First Friday or something, open for like a mariachi band.
Yep.
yeah, it's no Skittles and combos or silly shoes, but at least like they started
Started
hidden
it,
track
yeah.
on
Yeah.
LP1 and kept it going.
That's true. I'm here for it.
Yep.
All right, guys, we did it. We listened to Relient K by Relient K. So now the big question
Well said.
is, thank you. Flop or bop? What order we want to do this in?
Let's do TJ Me Kylan for people who
Ooh.
have listened to it the longest to the newest.
Cool.
Oh, I like that. That's fun.
I feel like I haven't been last in a while.
Yeah.
Give me time to figure out where I
Hey,
land.
Exactly.
You're going to get to
I try not to
take
put you
the reins
first.
and take the K car right off
First
the
spin.
cliff. Okay, you guys. So I got some issues with this record, and we've kind of danced around it or kind of spoken to it a little bit. But things that I've been saving for this moment are my small critiques. There's a lot of samey energy on this record. And as we've mentioned, it's a band figuring themselves out, and so it makes sense, and it I think is totally fair. But other than the transition tracks, Benediction and Anchorage, all the songs on the album exist within a range of less than 80 BPM. All are between 161 and 240. I tapped
Figured it
to
out.
the beat for every song to find this out. And 4 of the songs are within the 180s. So 4 songs are within 10 BPMs of each other. Actually, I think it's more like 7. And 3 are in the 160s. So they're very close.
I love it when you get technical.
Yeah. And that was what I was trying to figure out is like all these songs feel, not all, but so many of the songs feel the same. And that's why I picked Softer to Me as my favorite track and mentioned the dynamic element that it had, because it deviated a little bit from that. In addition, there's a lot of like similar chord progressions happening across this track list, right? And that's fine. That's going to happen in pop punk especially.
Right.
But there's also very repetitive and kind of samey lyrical cadences. I give you Balloon Ride. There were times in my life when I was confused. Everything will be. A year's passed since I wrote this song. A lot's gone right, a lot's gone wrong. Nancy Drew, I got this thing for Nancy Drew. Her hair is blonde, her eyes are blue. Okay, so
Those are all 3 back
Forgive-
to back too, which is
Yeah.
great.
yeah, forgive my melodic mistakes there, but essentially the cadence of these things are just like lifted straight one from another. And I get it. It's a good structure. It feels good. It works. It's fun. It's punchy, and you can fit a lot of fun like ideas in that rhythm scheme that like hit and are like a lot of fun to sing to, which I think like gave them the building blocks of what they ended up, becoming. So all that to say, there's a lot of samey energy across this track list.
100%.
And it still gets like a nice lawn bop from TJ because
Cool.
I had some nice memories mowing the lawn to a lot of these songs.
There you
And,
go. Is this our first lawn bop?
Believe
it might
so.
be. But it's more than a generic bop, what I predicted. It's
Nice.
It's a lawn bop. It's not like a glowing, mind-blowing bop, but it's
Right.
a lawn bop.
It's a good. I
I'm
like
mowing
that.
that lawn.
That's
Is
good.
it
Would
Yeah.
mow.
Would
You
mow.
would skate
10 out of 10.
Kylan? I
Where
would
is that
mow.
compared to a mop
Would
bop?
mow.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
one's
How does
higher?
a-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mop
How does
bop or a lawn bop?
I think a lawn bop might be higher in my book than a mop
Interesting.
bop. It doesn't sound as cool, but like I enjoy mowing the lawn probably more than I enjoy mopping.
I think my
So-
only. You guys won't ever hear a lawn bop from me until we cover Mitch Hedberg's Mitch Altogether.
Perfect. And we're definitely going to do that. So I look forward to it.
After we finish our Jars of Clay series.
Yep. That's next on the docket.
Okay,
Perfect.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
a lawn bop.
lawn bop.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Would mow.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
Well, for me, there aren't any songs here, honestly, that would vie for a spot in my RK Bop 10. But there was, and I expected this record to be a lot more forgettable because I haven't listened to it in so long. I haven't been like, I'm really jonesing to listen to RK's self-titled and all the fun
Right.
songs that it contains.
Yeah.
But there was a lot more to enjoy on this record than I expected there to be. Obviously, you can tell it's infancy RK, but there's enough of the seeds of things that you'll get about future RK for the things that you do love. A lot of things are not there yet, but you can tell, like, I can see where you'll start to figure this out sometimes on the next record and sometimes a little bit later on, like Two Lefts or down the line there. So ultimately, I think it's really just the songs just aren't as strong. Like, you get the Marilyn Manson song, but other than that, there's not really a ton of other ones that are like, you
And
don't
there's a
have a
lot of
Sadie
them, too.
Hawkins dance. You don't
Right.
have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Mood Rings. You don't have
Right.
something of that caliber that you're like, even if like musically it wasn't there, like the songwriting is like a huge standout.
Yeah.
But it's totally understandable for a debut record. So
Yep.
so I won't give this a soft bop. I will give this a softer to me bop.
Okay.
So,
love
nice
it.
Bob,
one.
could you be a little softer to me? Not too much though, because then
That's good.
might be a softer to me flop.
That's perfect. Okay. So essentially, everything that you guys said are the reason that I'm going to flop this record.
That's totally understandable. It's right on that line.
Yeah,
that's
it's
fair.
right on the line. Like
Yeah.
and if we got to land somewhere, I didn't hate this record. I enjoyed my time with it.
Yep.
It very much is like it suffers from that debut record kind of thing. Like it just, I have no nostalgia for it, right? So I'm taking it completely on the merits of the record. I thought it felt like they had some sort of mandate to fit Jesus into as many songs as possible, even when it didn't make sense.
Right.
And a lot of it feels kind of like lesser MXPX. I didn't bring that up much, but there's
I bet they would agree to that.
yeah,
That
yeah.
statement.
I mean,
yeah.
very, very much like inspired by MXPX, Blink-182, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine. It's fine. But for the sake of drama, like let's make it a flop
Well, and especially within the context of the rest of their discography,
of the
right?
band. Yeah, exactly. Like this.
Yeah.
This is one I don't think I'm ever gonna like intentionally re-listen to. Like I'm not jonesing for any of the songs on this record. Like there wasn't anything I hated, but there's nothing that like super stood out to me that like kind of like Josh, like you were saying, like none of these are racing for a spot in my Bop 10 or even probably a Bop 20, right? Like I'm just,
No,
yeah.
not even a
So-
50 maybe.
Yeah.
Man,
So
what if I
it's-
make you do a Bop 50 for whenever we finally do our RK episode?
Perfect.
I'll die.
It'll be so
I'll just
long.
die.
TJ will just
That'll
he'll
be
do
what
what he
finally
did for
does
Amberlin.
TJ
He'll just go through their whole discography. He'll just
Yep. Track by track.
just track by
in
track.
order.
And then but he'll give us some massive caveat. He's like, well, none of these are actually in order. It's like at that point you're just listing Relient K songs just to list them. Okay, so we got 2 bops and a flop. I'm happy with that. I'm happy where we
Yeah.
all landed.
I
It's
think
okay.
we're all
It's
pretty.
good.
We're all like real close to each other too. Like
Yeah.
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 you're
Like, I think
TJ's mowing the lawn on one side of the fence and you're on the other waving to him.
I'm watching Charles in Charge inside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We can see that your TV's on and watching
Yeah.
Charles in Charge.
Yeah, I would say the only reason to like seek out this record is if you are a Relient K completionist, right?
Yeah. If you want to see where they started and like,
Yeah.
where they were before they got to, you know.
Exactly. All right.
fun.
Well, if you enjoyed this, we have more nonsense like it at our Patreon at patreon.com/churchjamsnowpodcast. And of course, from all of us here at the CJ and the crew, may all your favorite bands stay together. Peace out, mon frères.
I know that pride and summertime come before fall. Almost me surpassed, but Jesus gave me a wake up call.